Thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm. And thank you. I really appreciate this conversation. What about the topic? What about the title? I gave this discussion, Reppin for the Low Life. And those of you who follow me know that I love hip hop. So, I love rap music. I love it. I can identify, with their tenacity, determination, work ethic, regardless of the stereotypes associated with it. I feel that, there's a lot of good music out there still. So a lot of my friends on Facebook are like, I hate this music. I hate it, and I'm getting a little older myself, so so I'm surrounded by people who don't appreciate the new music. But I think that we need to stay in what is new. And Reppin for the Low Life allowed me to kind of broaden my thoughts. As I was listening, to their thoughts and their process, I think that a lot of times young people don't know what we have been through. And I think that we don't know what they're going through. And I think that AfroEconomics is about us helping each other, about us living as an example for each other, because we can learn so much from young people. I remember when I was a new stockbroker, I was mentoring a kid that was in high school, and he would come over to the investment firm, and I was the only Black broker in there, and he was a Black kid from the projects, and I didn't grow up in the projects. I didn't know anything about his experiences, but when he would sit down with me and tell me about his experiences, and he would tell me like, hey, this is who you need to call, and his name is JB Craddock, and he is now an attorney, and he is doing really well. He doesn't even know that I'm talking about him, but I haven't had a chance to tell him because we're still good friends, and he's still an inspiration, and it's amazing. He went off to college, did very well, and I think that people get confused about where you start and what might appear to be a low life or a low level of life, and that I feel that low life is not a particular status, but more of a state of mind, and that when we can take low life and turn what society wants us to see as a negative into what empowers us. You see, I believe that people that come from challenging situations are in a position to offer so much more to the world, because they can say, you don't have to settle for this. We don't have to accept this. You don't. And I think that at some point in everybody's life, you're going to feel like you're at the lowest of the lowest. Now, I don't know if any of you know about when I first started my business, and the first week that I started my company, the person I was married to at that time asked for a divorce. And I know that most people would have given up, but he said, you find another place to live, you move out. And I remember praying. I said, God, just allow me to keep my business, allow me to keep going. I had just opened my doors, and he was like, get out. And I did not feel that I wanted to it was not worth the energy of fighting for things when I felt that I had so much more ahead of me. And now that's more than 20 years later. And I refused to allow someone to change my better life attitude. I was determined to have a better life. And for those of us who have had to go through the lowest of life, that have experienced a low life experience, we are committed. We are committed. This is for those that are committed to creating the life that we deserve, building the legacy that we deserve, that they can say, my mom went through this, my dad went through this, but he created this out of that because of that work ethic, because of that determination, because of that bad experience. He was able to turn that into a growth experience that encouraged him and challenged him and allowed him to move on. download my app. I just started talking to you. Download the app AfroEconomics so that you can get my weekly updates. If you're looking at this video and you got this far, please subscribe to my channel. Give me some feedback, make some comments. Let's keep in touch, because this is a workbook. This is the AfroEconomics workbook. But let's continue to talk about repping for the low life. So repping for the low life. I looked this up in the dictionary, like what a low life. Low lifer is a term for a person considered morally unacceptable by their community. I mean, really, does it have to be all that? A low life is someone with very bad habits, even a criminal. And that's really sad. So I'll put some notes and I said, today, me and many rappers are changing the meaning. It's about owning who you are, accepting what you've been through, accepting what has been, where you were, and celebrating where we're going and where we are, right? And it's just owning who you are. AfroEconomics is about taking ownership of where you are and who you are. What if every Black professional like myself said and told the truth about their story and really encouraged others? I remember being in my early 20s and going through challenges and and being in my later 20s and then starting my business and going through divorce and no one really saying, hey, I went through that. It was like I was the only professional that went through this embarrassing experience, and I was like, we have to really help each other. And I remember as a young person not having anyone reaching out to me and helping me. I said, I promise, if I'm ever in an experience, in a position to help someone, encourage a person, a young person, an older person, to encourage someone, I will be honest with them and tell them what I've been through. And that's what we have to do. We have to accept that we've been through hell, but we came out on fire. And anybody else who wants to swell up, blow up, make a better life for themselves, they can by following these 10 principles of AfroEconomics. I'm determined to create the life that I deserve. By you following it, you can create the life that you deserve for your family. Now, let me see what else I wrote and to share that with you. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I have never knowingly committed a crime. And I wrote AfroEconomics to promote more of what is seen, not from that Webster definition of that low life or these immoral, criminal, people who are lazy and don't do things, but that low life is about people, because AfroEconomics is about representing and building from whatever you consider low life in your life, whatever misfortune, whatever discrimination, whatever setbacks that you've experienced. AfroEconomics is about making that better for you, because every mistake that I've ever made, I see people and they unfortunately want to remind you of what you've been through. So I feel that if we rep for the low life and we say, yeah, I've been through that. Yeah, that happened to me. That it's really, really sad that people, but I read, this is something I saw on Facebook one day, and it said that people bring up your past because they're threatened by your future. And remember that, you know what I'm saying? And say, yeah, hey, I went through that, but hey, that has nothing to do with what I'm doing with my life now. That have nothing to do with God's plan for my life. I have no problem accepting that. Hey, I'm humble in that. I'm a rep for the low life. Yeah, shit happens to good people. It is what it is, but we're moving on. We're following the principles of AfroEconomics, and we're making that commitment to our future. Even though so all that they say, it says, and that to many makes up a low life of anything. And I've made a list of things that I felt that were like challenges in my life that people will accumulate to. That is the lowest of the low. Like, that is terrible to have to go through a divorce, and definitely don't have to go through several like I did. Oh, that is terrible. That I've trusted people and made financial investments in people, and given people and helped people financially, and they've let me down. And, there's people that say, oh, that's dumb. You should have never believed in them. You should have known better. You should have, but hey, those things happen. It's what happens. But as we go through AfroEconomics and we realize principle number one, legacy, developing why we're doing what we're doing. See, because I can't be as dumb as I used to be. Unfortunately, I will call myself dumb, but I have not been of the mindset that I am now. There are certain things that I just cannot do now. I just can't. It's just once you get smart, you neurologically are not programmed to do stupid stuff anymore. So when you think about your legacy and your why you do what you do, you can't waste any of your resources, and especially your time, on anything that's not pulling everything that you represent forward. Because we've seen the low life, we've been there, but we ain't going back. We are making that commitment to a better life for our legacy and for generations to come. We don't think about just today, what is good, what is fun today. That's not a legacy mindset. A legacy mindset thinks in decades, and that's what we do. We think our second principle of AfroEconomics about when we're moving from the low life into the life that we're creating, we're becoming independent. We are independent. We're relying on ourselves. We're not blaming our position on anything else. Yeah, that happened, whatever, but look how we have recovered. Look how we have 10 times what we used to think was significant. Look at how you have built on that. Look at how things that were important before, and now these things that you value are things that are much more significant. You don't value stupid things. You don't value things that depreciate. You value things that increase in value. You value things that can create income over the long term. The third principle of how we move from the low life to the good life is that we're organized and we focus on planning. We're also, the principle number 4, we increase our knowledge all the time. I read at least 2 books a week. If I'm not reading it physically, I'm reading it through Audible. I'm reading, I'm earning, I'm learning, and I'm increasing my information so that I can earn more. They say you learn more, you earn more. Everything I learn, I turn that into income. I turn that in. How am I going to help somebody else with this knowledge? And the more people I help, the more people whose lives I build and create their goals, that's how I achieve my goals. And a fourth is integrity, basing everything that you do on being honest and true. Being true, and mostly being honest to yourself, not being self-deceptive. You know that's wrong. You know that's not good for you. You know that relationship is pulling you in the wrong direction. Then, make sure you make the proper changes and stop lying. If it's not getting any better, it's not going to get better. It's abusive. It's costing you in many, many, many ways. It's damaging your children. Do what you got to do. That's all about AfroEconomics. Integrity, being honest with yourself and others, doing the right thing. And number 6 in AfroEconomics, that 6th principle is that being accountable. What have you made a goal to do? Did you set up things correctly? Have you updated your beneficiaries? Are you looking at your financial statements? Have you checked your checking account lately? Are you making sure that you're not paying unnecessary fees? Do you know your credit card interest rates? Accountability and review. And our 7th principle that can move us from that low life mentality into the mentality of growth and prosperity is becoming an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is a key way for developing, increasing your wealth, bringing that entrepreneurship attitude. Even if you work for the government, you can take ownership and be responsible and want to really say, I own everything that you have given me responsibility to do. I own it. I'm responsible for this. That I have an entrepreneur spirit that you can take into the companies that you work for, or most importantly, develop your own company, develop your business. And then an eighth principle of Afroeconomics is increasing your confidence in your own credit. Knowing that you're credit worthy, knowing that you're dependable, developing credit confidence by understanding what is impacting your credit score and how your credit score is impacting your life. And ninth principle of determination, being focused, being determined, being focused on creating the life that you deserve, accepting your past and being determined to create a better future for yourself and your family. And the final principle of Afroeconomics is being healthy. And your health, Black health and Black wealth. It is so true. It is so true. You know, and I put in the symbols in the book, and you'll see, I don't know if you can see this, but the ram's head is for Black health and Black wealth. I've used that, and it's about, you know, being strong, but being humble. And we have to be really humble about what we need to do to take care of our health. And realizing that what you do as a young person, and we're all younger than we'll be tomorrow, what we do today impacts how we live tomorrow. And not being healthy is so darn expensive. It costs you so much. You should read that chapter in the book. It is amazing. And if you're watching and you got to this point, send me an email and I'll send you the email version of the book and the legacy edition also. So you'll see all of the West African symbols. You'll enjoy the entire book. And I'm really excited about the children's book that I've just released, and it also includes the African symbols, and to help our children understand the importance of being connected to their roots. I was watching a video this morning by Malcolm X, and he was talking about, if you hate your roots, if you hate your root, then you will hate who you are as a person. You know, it said if you hate the root, you'll hate the tree. So if you hate Africa, where you come from, and you're a descendant of that, if you don't understand it, then how can you understand yourself? So, and we really need to understand that, making sure that we and our children and all of our generations understand where they've come from. So that children's book and the first principle of Afroeconomics and the adult book is about knowing your why, understanding your family, understanding how important you are, and understanding yourself, and understanding that no matter where we started, low life or not, that we can develop and create and build the life that we deserve. September 10th, a live workshop in the Washington, D.C. office, Building Your Legacy. Make sure you come and hang out with me. No excuses. I'm J.B. Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer of J.B. Bryan Financial Group. And I'm sorry that my head is cut off. In this, look, my head is all cut off in this. I saw it, but hey, I'm doing this by myself. That's Afroeconomics, saving money, but still making a difference. God bless you all. Please make sure that you keep in touch with me. Email jb@jbbryan.com or jb@afroeconomics.com. Please subscribe. Please continue to do what you do and create the life that you deserve. Be blessed.